Do you want to tell us where we are over the noise of the cars and also the rugby kicking out?
Yeah, we are at the Caerleon Roman Amphitheater, which is where Geoffrey of Monmouth, at the very least, reckoned the real life Camelot was. In there somewhere.
I believe, according to the Bradley and Colin documentary, which is a piece of movie making magic and historical accuracy.
Available on YouTube for anybody interested.
This is the round table, as it were.
Well, sort
As
of.
in, they say that it was here in this amphitheatre for reasons that I didn't understand at the time.
No.
And they've also never found the round table.
No.
But this is where it would have been had it existed and had it been here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So there you go.
That's
History at work.
an award-winning documentary in the making. Do you have a question for us?
Yeah. Somebody wanted to know
Ooh,
how
burp.
you like to spend your birthday.
I like putting on do's.
Yeah.
And I had a year where I was really, really sad and I'd had some very bad news in March, and my birthday's the beginning of March, and I really didn't fancy having a birthday party because everything was just a little bit miserable and I was going to have to speak to people and possibly tell them about stuff. And then I suddenly realised that it's my birthday, so I could do whatever I wanted.
That is the rule.
And that included having a themed party and making people turn up to match the theme.
Yes, it does.
And that was very exciting.
Yes.
And since then, I've had some very, very good themed parties.
Yes.
What about you?
I'm very boring. I really like going out to eat, so I like going out to eat for my birthday. I like meeting friends for a glass of wine in the pub kind of thing. I'm fundamentally quite antisocial, so my birthday parties tend to be like 4 people out for dinner rather than large parties worth of people. But
Whereas I spend most of my pre-birthday planning asking you whether I know any other friends.
you do.
Yeah.
Like more people in order to justify the number of themed cookies that are being baked.
Yes.
We've made 400 cookies. Who can we invite to come and eat them? That tends to be the way Michelle's birthday parties run, rather than the other way around.
Good times.
Rather than 12 people are coming to this birthday, maybe we should make an appropriate number of cookies for 12 people.
Which is 400. I don't know what else you want.
Yeah, anyway, there you go.
Continuing a series of get in the thing. Get in the stocks.
Get in the stocks. I don't think I want to get in the
Get in the stocks. No one ever wants to get in the stocks. Okay, now someone get me a vegetable. Ruff, 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 ruff. Get in the well.
Now we're being still itself because there's quite a lot of people around. But this is the hall of the Fisher King. We're here at Caerphilly Castle, aka the home of the Fisher King.
Having just gone up an awful lot of stairs.
Yes, we're stopping for a brief breather. And we have time for a quick question.
Yes.
What was the last thing you binge watched?
Not with you. The last thing I binge watched, I just watched season 2 of Never Have I Ever. Which I watched in like a day and a half. I think that counts as binging.
Yep.
What about you?
Well, we last binge watched, we literally just finished Leverage, which was
Yes.
his first time through, and not my first time through, but
I like it.
it was good.
It was very
enjoyed
good.
it.
And we will be talking about it over on Thinky Thoughts
At some point.
at some point that I don't know because my calendar is somewhere else.
Yeah.
And now we're going to enjoy the rest of Caerphilly Castle,
Yeah.
which is stunning.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
If we went next to the bear, you could be the third bear in the 3-bear cave. Our little bear family. Now you're just going to have to believe us that the 3-bear cave It's back there
We've got pictures.
because it's a very busy area and it's a very one in, one out kind of a deal.
Because there's not room, not because there's some bizarre policy.
It's over there. We might be able to go back in a minute. But until we can hopefully maybe go back. What is the last thing you read, Rufflet?
The last thing I read is in an actual real book.
Yes. I'm sorry. What is the last book you read? Because we've also been asked what is your favourite book, which you can obviously also answer. But what is the last book you read changes more often.
I read Persuasion not very long ago. That is the last book I read. What is my favourite book? That changes all the time.
Hopefully not as often as what is the latest book you read changes.
That's true. I'm very fond of the His Dark Materials trilogy. That's been one of my favourite books for many, many years. I'm a big fan of Stardust by Neil Gaiman. That's one of my favourites. Persuasion's very good. Read Persuasion.
By?
Jane Austen.
There you go.
What's your favourite book, Mish?
My favourite book is Watership Down.
Mm-hmm.
And the last book I've read...
Well, you're reading a book now, aren't you?
I am reading a book now. I've only read like 2 chapters of it. So at the moment I'm reading... What's the actual title? It's like Arthur Pendragon, King of the Britons. From medieval hero to cinema icon?
Something like that.
Something thereabouts. It's basically looking at the Arthurian legends across the years. And a kind of phenomenon rather than trying to find proof in history and folklore. And I'm enjoying it so far, but I've only read 2 chapters.
Fair enough.
So I don't feel like I can give a 100% opinion on it.
It is Arthur, King of Britons, from Celtic hero to cinema icon by Daniel Mercy.
Okay. I didn't do too badly.
You tweeted it the other day.
I did think I tweeted it, but I cannot film and check Twitter at the same
is
time. Yeah.
Well, there we go. We will take you back.
We will. See, we just answered the question in time to go back and look at the cave. You want to hold the camera?
Sure.
Look at the cave.
There's a bear sculpture, so you know where you are. Look, a beetle. See, with us you get Merlin and nature. Look, there they are. Caves, 3 of them.
Behind a really big fence.
It's actually not a cave at all, they're mine entrances. From mines that are no longer in use, obviously.
Or really large termites.
Very large termites, possibly. The information sign says mine entrance.
Oh, okay.
So there you go.
But that doesn't mean that 3 bears didn't at some point make a home in it.
It's true.
Yeah.
True. Or giant baby rats.
Giant baby rats. Do you feel like this is a good place to talk about your feelings?
It's an excellent place to talk about my feelings.
Or to wash off all of the... What was it? Shampoo and body wash?
Oh, the Wildering
The Wildering Goop.
goop.
Wash off all the body wash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Roof, get in the river.
We're on day 4. And
We have got loopy.
a little bit. We're doing some water-themed locations
We are.
today. This is the River Ely, near the village of Miskin,
Where Arthur has feelings.
where Arthur has feelings, and Gwen and Morgana wash off in a river to pretend to some bandits that they are weak feeble women, when in fact they are fearsome warrior women.
Also, I'm very glad that we found this bit because you can genuinely actually, wash in this bit.
You could wash in this bit, yeah.
The river bit we were looking at first, you definitely couldn't have
It
because
gets-
you would have,
yeah.
fallen down a bank.
It gets very muddy, streamy up over there.
And also with the proper steep banks. Where's this bit? That's where Bradley once walked
Yes,
10 years ago.
yes.
Yeah. It's nice.
And
On
other people.
the theme,
Yeah,
I love him.
I know.
Yeah. On the theme of 10 years ago,
Yeah.
what was your favourite age growing up?
My favourite age.
Yeah, your favourite age growing up.
My favourite age to be.
Because standing here, there's just a bit of it that's like, well, there's an age where I would have crawled through this tube.
Yeah.
There's an age where I would have been skipping up and down this river
Yeah.
and been absolutely fine. And not worried about my shoes getting wet.
Yeah.
That's a good age.
I don't know. I feel like the rubbish ones stick in my head more clearly than the
Well,
good
just
ones.
go opposite then. Also, I don't know whether the audio quality of this is going to be useful. I have to speak up
Yeah.
over the river noise.
I feel like in hindsight, I had quite a good time being like 12, 13.
Uh-huh. But not at the time, though.
Not at the time. I mean,
Yeah.
and 14, 15 was pretty bleak. But I didn't have a particularly good time towards kind of latter childhood. Like the sort of 9 to 11 years were pretty rough for
Yeah.
me.
Well, that's kind of the thing, because I look at this river and I think, oh, but that time when you were running around, you were skipping in a river, you didn't care about getting
Yeah.
wet because there was a parent with a towel, and where you just would have, climbed up this bank, and if you'd fallen down, you broken something, it wouldn't have mattered, you wouldn't have worried about it. That was an awesome time. But I don't think actually my time at that age where I would have done all those things actually was an awesome time.
Yeah, well, I had quite a happy childhood. Like, my parents are great, and I got on really well with my brother and all of that stuff. So, like, I had quite a happy childhood. But kind of 9 to 11-ish was not a good time at school.
Yeah.
It's when I think if you're an awkward kid, you kind of become an awkward kid. Like, you stop.
Well,
with
that's what, yeah, you
being a little kid who just does the running around and the
you're stopping like generic child.
right, and you actually start developing into your own little person. And for me,
Yeah, you come into your own, and sometimes that's an
Yeah.
awkward thing.
that was, I was at my shyest. I was really bookish. I didn't really like talking to people. I didn't have very many friends. The friends that I did have suddenly became interested in like other things that weren't my thing, because I was a tiny little nerd. And I think it took until I was about 12, 13 before kind of I found my tribe, I guess. I found, you find people who are into the same things as you are. I found other like weird nerdy kids to be friends with, and we liked Blink-182 and Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
And then, you people.
And then your people. And then the end of school, later teenage years, they become really hard again. So
Yeah. Well, this is the thing is like, I mean, growing up, I'm assuming that is meant to be childhood.
yes,
But equally,
because otherwise, like, I had quite a good time being like 18.
well, this is the thing is like, well, anything before now, I'm still growing up.
Yeah,
And 25 was awesome.
yeah,
I was 25 for at least like 4 years because 25 was awesome.
yeah,
And I just refused to get older.
yeah,
So every birthday I celebrated around that time, I was 25 again
yeah,
because 25 was cool.
yeah.
Danger. Oh, he's prickly here.
My slight worry
Yes.
is that this is closed because at some point they had some kind of rock form that means that you can't access the beach from this way.
Maybe.
So we'll keep going until we can't go anymore. But like, yes. For instance, yeah.
But it looks like a path.
Yeah, but there's no steps anymore. So I think we should go back and continue and see if there's another way down to the beach, because this way is no longer safe.
But these are definitely the rocks.
They are being, but we can't get down this way.
But roof. Get in the ocean.
Get back up the prickly path.
Okay. Mo.
So we're currently above St Donat's Bay, aka that beach from the Caerphilly episode. We have been foiled by two things. Firstly, that it's high tide and therefore all of the beach bits that they were actually on underwater. And secondly, that
Except for maybe this bit, which maybe Bradley James was on.
Maybe, who knows? And secondly, that there seems to have been some kind of a storm or something that has taken down the stair access to the beach, so you can actually not currently get down to the beach.
Yes, we were foiled secondly by the fact that we are following instructions from 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And nature moves.
But we have got this little lookout bit, so we can see down sort of to the bit, and you can kind of see where there might be something that looks a bit like cave entrances if Mitch doesn't drop her phone in.
Or the whole me. Hold the phone while I try and get back up the ocean. Okay.
So
I also have some prickles up my butt.
so kind of moderate success on this one. We're heading now to Dunraven Bay, which is the labyrinth of Gedref beach, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit more close to the water.
And we're aiming to hit that post high tide.
Yeah.
So that should be better. But like you say, moderate success, and that's fair enough because we couldn't get down there.
But
also, look at that.
I mean, it's pretty
This
nice.
is pretty successful.
It's pretty nice up here. But we're now going to go have some lunch, and we'll check in with you later on.
So we've just arrived at Candleston Castle, which is season 5, Another Sorrow.
Episode 4.
Yes, where stuff happens.
Nothing gets hit on the head. Is that what happens to this one?
Spoilers.
Sorry, I can't remember. I haven't rewatched the episode.
Stuff happens with people in the episode where things with the stuff.
That's entirely like allegedly.
It could be anything,
Allegedly.
for all you know. And I'm pretty sure that... Don't actually know whether we get the right angle here. Yes, I'm pretty sure that the Merlin goes here, but that the slab that the Merlin lies on was actually a prop slab.
Could have been.
And has been removed. But it's very cool.
Yeah.
It's also because it is literally just a ruin in the middle of a forest. You can just like clamber all over it. We went up this bit we went up, and then through here, and over there. And that's all fun.
Yeah.
And the question I have for you to answer
Yeah.
is it bad that I use your podcast to go to sleep?
No, that's fine.
I quite often use our podcast to go to sleep because it's a little bit like white noise,
Yeah.
if you ask.
Personally, I would have thought that we were a little too excitable to use to go to sleep. I tend to try and find
Calmer.
calmer. more even voices to sleep to, but whatever works for you.
Yeah.
Sleep is important, and we're happy to be of help.
It's also, you can get actual podcasts that are all about, going to bed with ...
Yeah, I like, for anybody who's looking for a sleep aid app recommendation.
That's not just our podcast.
Yeah, I like the podcast Nothing Much Happens, because it's like a nighttime story for grown-ups. So it's a bedtime story for grown-ups, and what I like about it is there's a nice calming voiced lady who reads you a little story that is about nothing, like about how she took a walk through the wood and she saw some bluebells. That's the whole content of the story.
Yeah.
And she reads it
Careful,
to you once,
friends.
and so you can sort of
Oh
listen.
yeah, you've talked about this
Yeah.
before.
And then she reads it to you again, slower. And the whole story is probably only like 15 minutes in the telling. But she
Yeah,
does
yeah,
it
yep.
to you twice. So I really like that one. It's called Nothing Much Happens, and you can find it on the podcast app of your choice. I believe it's on most of them. So there you go.
No, I can totally see how that, because this is kind of the main reason why I sometimes use our podcast to go to sleep.
because you know what
Because
happens in it.
I know what we say.
Yeah.
And sometimes that works really well, and sometimes it doesn't, because I then get overexcited, or I laugh along with the funny bits, and it's like, I am so sad. That was my own joke. Also, sometimes I listen to a podcast and I think a joke,
Yeah.
and then like 10 seconds later I say the joke, and it's like, well, at least I'm consistent. Like, that's something. So yes, in answer to the question, there's absolutely nothing wrong with using our podcast to go to sleep if that works for you, but there are also many alternatives.
Yeah.
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 And this is Candleston Castle. Bye. Because this is going to be the only time this will have a successful conclusion. Bro, get in the ocean. Woohoo! I don't know if I believe you. Where do you put your shoes? Ah. Don't drown.
Slip over, fall on my ass and get my dress wet. That's entirely possible, but don't think I'm going to.
I think right here, where we are at a very high risk of drowning, and also where the recording audio conditions are optimal, I think we should answer a question.
Okay.
Do you have a question?
I had an appropriate question, yes. Do you prefer the beach or camping?
So the question, just on the off chance that that didn't pick up Ruth's voice, do you prefer the beach or camping? See, I kind of have a problem with that question because I don't like beach holidays.
Yes.
I think lying around in the boiling hot on sand and getting sand everywhere seems like I don't know, for about 5 minutes we're like, oh no, you read a lot of books, lie around, get toasty, everything's awesome.
Yeah.
And then after like 3.5 minutes of being on the beach, I get bored and I don't want to do it anymore. And in theory, camping is awesome, and I like the whole, you pack up stuff, you have what you have, you cook over an open fire, you get wet and then you just deal with it. But then also you get wet and then it's miserable.
Yeah.
So I don't really know what my answer is. Like this type of beach, I like this type of beach. I like rock hopping. What about you? How do you feel? Didn't get me.
Yeah, I guess it sort of depends. I'm a bit of a water baby, but I don't really like swimming in the sea that much. because it's salty and rough and cold, and so I prefer swimming. Oh look, a little crab. There it is. See the little crab? It's to go along with my
With your
mini series within our Welsh adventure. So I'm not like, I like the beach for a bit, and I like the coast hugely. Like walking along the coast is one of my favourite holiday activities. And I quite like camping in theory, but I get very, very cold very, very easily.
You get very cold.
So
Very easily.
most of the camping I've done in my life, which has been in the United Kingdom, has mostly involved me getting very cold and my various friends and relations who I'm with having to drive extraordinary distances to find me additional clothing and or duvets.
Yeah, most of your camping has involved the purchases of duvets.
But I do like travelling holidays. So I like road trips and train trips, and you know, where you stop a lot of places along the way, kind of a thing, rather than just stopping in one place. Look, it's so pretty. There's a sort of gold inlay. I don't know if you can see the gold, but it's a starfish that's been like, it's not actually real. Stone. It's not real.
I thought it was real for a second, and then you poked it really hard.
There's gold leaf shells there as well. There's another one over here. So pretty.
Do you think that's what happens when Bradley James touches rocks?
She can't even take herself seriously. Sort of to sum up this little section of video, this is Dunraven Bay and it is extraordinary.
This is amazing.
And thoroughly worth a visit.
Yeah.
Whether you're interested in Merlin sightseeing or no, we thoroughly...
Or you just like hopping on rocks.
Yeah, thoroughly recommend.